Hello, today I want to talk about simplifying square roots. More specifically, I want to talk about what you do when you have a square root divided by another square root. In this case, we have the square root of 5 divided by the square root of 3. So what we have to do is rationalize the denominator. So that means we have to remove the square root of 3 from the denominator, and we do this by multiplying by the square root of 3. So if I multiply the bottom by the square root of 3, I have to multiply the top by the square root of 3. And on the bottom we have the square root of 9. And on the top we have the square root of 15. We're not done yet because the square root of 9 is just 3. So the answer ends up being 3 square root 15. Let's do some more problems. So in this case, I have the square root of 4 divided by the square root of 5. Before we rationalize the denominator and get rid of the square root of 5, let's simplify. The square root of 4 is just 2. So this would be 2 divided by the square root of 5. Now let's rationalize the denominator. All right, multiply the top and bottom by the square root of 5. On top we get 2 root 5. And on the bottom we get the square root of 25. Square root of 25, this simplifies to just 5. So we have 2 root 5 over 5. Let's do another problem. Right, so in this case, right, the denominator is the square root of 100. And the square root of 100 is just 10. So I'm going to rewrite this as 10 square root of 8. Right, and I can rewrite the square root of 8 as 4 times 2. And we still have 10 on the bottom, of course. And we know that 4 is a perfect square. Right, so this would simplify to 2 root 2 over 10. If you reduce the top and bottom by 2, you would get 1 over 5. And of course, root 2 would still be there. Let's do another problem. So we have the square root of 4 divided by 5 root 3. Let's simplify before we rationalize the denominator. The square root of 4 is just 2. So this would be 2, 5, square root of 3. And now let's get rid of the square root of 3. So let's multiply the top and bottom by the square root of 3. So on top I get 2 root 3. On the bottom I have 5 root 9. The square root of 9 is just 3. So I end up with 5 times 3, 2 root 3 on top, which equals 15 on the bottom and 2 root 3 up top. Let's do another problem. So we have root 2 divided by 2 root 3. There's nothing to simplify here, so let's just rationalize the denominator. Let's multiply the top and bottom by root 3. And when I do that, I'm going to get 2 root 9 and root 6 up top. I can simplify this, right? Because the square root of 9 is just 3. So this would be 2 times 3, square root 6, which is just root 6 over 6. Let's do another problem. So in this case, I have 3 root 20 divided by 2 root 4. Let's simplify. Because the square root of 4 is just 2, so we can rewrite the denominator as 2 times 2. And then on top we have 3 times 20, but I'm going to rewrite 20 as 5 times 4. So on the bottom we have 4, because 2 times 2 is 4. And on the top, we can simplify this further because the square root of 4 is just 2. So we can rewrite this as 3 times 2 square root 5. And if we simplify further, we get 6 root 5 divided by 4. Now, if I divided the top and the bottom by 2, let's say I did that, right? I would end up with 3 root 5 over 2. And that would be my final answer.